birthday. Just annihilate a child in Mario Kart. What's good, everybody? How we doing? Oh, it's very dark. Oh, well, that will not do. Aha! Green! Okay, it's color correcting. There we go. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's good, everybody? Welcome in, Netherlad. Congratulations to Zando on snagging first. Sneaky Pigs, I see you down there. Marin, what's good? Yeah. Volume's going down. No worries. No worries. We're just excited getting in here. Yep. Volume's always high coming out of the intro, coming out of the waiting time. Should be a better volume now. It's almost a little loud on my end, though.
Tell me, what's the deal with all these gachapons? I mean, come on.
Movie game and gachapon. Classic Zando. You got it. How we doing, folks? Happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. Oh, this cannot be. It cannot be. Zando. 2 days in a row. Right or left? I already know you're in. Do let me know if the voice is still too low. It shouldn't be, but it could be. It's a little far away from my face, I suppose. Try and move it a little closer. All right, it's the vomit one. It's the vomit one. It's the vomit or peach rings. I'm gonna go ahead and get the trash can. You already know how this goes. Cheers, Zando. For the final VarieTuesday, I bequeath you this bean. Oh, that's a bad one. Ooh, that was they put all the flavor in that. They put all the flavor in that. No. Ah! How is it getting worse? Oh. I don't even have any candy. I don't have any candy to wash the flavor out. Oh. What's up, Stained? How we doing? What's good, Stained? Welcome in. Woo! Woo! All right. Think candy thoughts. I'll try. Zando, here you go. Here is your movie game. Folks, let Zando answer first. Ooh. A gaggle of spelunking females fights for survival in the claustrophobic recesses of the earth while being hunted by ravenous humanoids that are blind alcoholic Al Pacinos that love to tango. That is very funny. This is a good one. I'll read it again. A gaggle of spelunking females fight for survival in the claustrophobic recesses of the earth while being hunted by ravenous humanoids that are blind alcoholic Al Pacinos that love to tango. Very funny. Very funny. Let me know if you need any hints. Just know that once you get it, you're going to be pinching yourself. Once we get the ads out of the way, folks, it is The Descent of a Woman. So good. That's such a good one. The Descent of a Woman is just a really funny thing to say, so I'm here for it. Chats in the clap for Zando, our iconic movie game answerer. Hooah! Folks, we got a great stream lined up for you today. Manga Spice Cafe sent me my April box, I guess. This is April. Yeah, I'm going to say this is April. Looking forward to it. Very excited to find out what's inside. I'm almost done with my stack o manga, so I'm needing more, so I'm glad. I'm glad they sent it to me. BRB Ben's nap time. You're all good. I'll go ahead and post the schedule. So folks, if you don't know how VarieTuesday works, we post on our Discord every Tuesday morning, first thing in the morning, options of what we're going to play today, and people vote on what we're going to play. Today's vote was to continue a game we've already played. I RNG'd of the 5 games that we're already playing, and believe it or not, the winner was Pokemon White. So we're going to continue with our venture in Pokemon White and probably finish the game. And then we will move into whatever's after that. We'll see. So there we go. I got it pinned. I don't know why it pins that way. I don't know why it does it in like a straight line instead of... I should have done the pipettes. I might, honestly. I might. It looks so much better with the pipettes. Yeah, let's try that right there. I feel like that looks better. Look, I have no sway, okay? There are 4 votes. I don't vote on any of them. The people picked continue, and then the algorithm of whatever picked the rest. So, them's the breaks. I have no say. No say, no sway. Not on me. Can't do it. I did start reading this morning this one, Chojin X, that was from the last Manga Spice Cafe, and oh boy, it's good. Need your trivia fix? You'll get it as soon as ads go by. So if you've already seen ads, let me know. Oh, I see. Your 1 minute mystery trivia. Yes. I thought you meant Geopardy. But of course, trivia it is. All right, Marin, your trivia is, oh my gosh, you've got 2 easy. I'm shuffling. I'm not giving you another that easy. It's too easy. It's as easy as the Bikini Bottom one. We're shuffling. We're shuffling the cards. By the way, I've had this trivia box since we started. I mean, since 2020, and I throw them away after I use them, and we're down to this many. And the box is this big. So I mean, we're making some headway. Okay, this is a toughie. Not that tough, but this is tougher. Tougher than the one you were going to get. The question, Marin. In science, how long is an eon? How long is an eon? It's not that tough. But if you don't know, it'd be hard to figure it out. In science, how long is an eon? Marin, you have a sub, right? So you can hear this. 1 million years is your guess. I'm afraid the answer is 1 billion years. Great guess, though. You got the alien. All right, so I'm going to give another $1 to the Carolina Manga Library. That's my charity of choice that I try to give to. I like that kids have access to manga. It makes me happy. So that's who I'm going to support. But thank you. Play again next time. All right. Learn something new. I will never remember that a neon is 1 billion years myself. It is in one ear, out the other. Okay. We're going to start Jeopardy! For those of you that never played Jeopardy with us, the way that we play it is I have 3 Jeopardy prompts. I'm going to be reading the category, how many points they're worth, and the question. You do not have to answer in the form of a question, just answer with the correct answer. That is all we need. The points will be added to your leaderboard here in the score. If you do not have a roster on the leaderboard, then I will add you to it. This Friday will be our checkathon from 4 until midnight. That will be the final time to get Jeopardy questions for this leaderboard. I haven't decided what the winner will win, but they'll win something and it'll be nice. And I'll come up with what it is later, whenever I do the checkathon. And that will reset the leaderboard. So if you join us next Monday for our Pokemon Day stream, do I play the music? I do not. I should though, but it would probably be very copyright. I have a feeling we get in trouble. Where was I? Our leaderboard will reset. So if you join us next Monday, all the points will be reset to 0. You will have a real chance at climbing the leaderboard. If you have not been participating so far, then you are probably a good bit behind, but that doesn't mean don't try, because hey, maybe you could get up to 3rd place. I doubt you can get up to where Sneaky and Zando are, as they have literally tens of thousands of points, but you could get close. You could get close to 3rd, who has less than 10,000. So The opportunity is there. We're going to start with our first question, which is actually a final Jeopardy. The way that we do that is we RNG it. So, okay, Google, pick a number between 1 and 20. We'll see what you get. 700 points. 700 points. Category is British history. The answer: in 2018, Parliament Square got its first statue of a woman, Millicent Fawcett. Millicent Fawcett, a founding member of the London Society for Women's This. For Women's This. In 2018, Parliament Square got its first statue of a woman, Millicent Fawcett. It is indeed suffrage, Zando. Chats in the clap. I would not have known that. So kudos for you, my friend. All right, next question for 200 points. Category is old school movies. The answer: this SNL alum streaks through the quad at Harrison University in Old School. This SNL alum streaks through the quad at Harrison University in Old School. It is indeed Will Ferrell for 200 points. And our final Jeopardy of today, our final Jeopardy question, unless somebody gets it in the gotcha, is old school movies for 600 points. The answer: asked incredulously in this film, you got into Harvard Law? Elle Woods replies, what, like it's hard? The answer: asked incredulously in this film, you got into Harvard Law? It is indeed Legally Blonde. Legally Blonde, what, like it's hard? Such a good quote. 600 points on the board. All right, with that, let's read out our leaderboard. In third place remains Weisenleimer with 9,800 points. Second place, Zando Calrissian with 22,500 points. And in first place is Sneaky Pigs with 36,200 points. Chats in the clap for all of our wonderful participants. Thank you for playing along. Again, folks, the Checkathon is this Friday, 4 o'clock. Advertisements coming out about that post-haste. I literally was at the doctor all this morning with Quinn, and so I have not had even a minute to work on our advertisements, but they will get done. And it will be out there, and we will have all the information. But do know that this is the last opportunity for Jeopardy on Friday until the leaderboard resets. And once the leaderboard does reset, we will begin with our antics once again, starting from zero, from zilch, from nada. And that should be fun. Should be a good time. Of course, they're leaf blowing at 108. No, that's not even a leaf blower. That's an air compressor. I don't know if you guys can hear the air compressor. I can hear nothing but the air compressor right now. And that's just a joy, a goof, and a gas. Folks, resets next Monday. So this Friday will be the final time to get Jeopardy points for this leaderboard. Next Monday, we'll reset. We'll be at an even keel of everybody starting at 0. We will also have a big announcement this Friday about the new stream schedule. So that's the reason why I say today is the last VarieTuesday. I will let you know that VarieTuesday is no longer going to be happening, at least today at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. We may or may not still have a stream on Tuesday. No comment on that yet because I don't know. Still parsing out exactly what the schedule should be and figuring out the best time and place and all that sort of thing. But know that Poke Monday is most likely safe. Wake with Nate is safe, but this stream is definitely ending. Tuesdays at 1 are no longer going to be a thing, which is a bummer. We've been doing this a long time. I was waxing poetic in my vlog a little while ago, just about how long we've been doing VarieTuesday. It's been going on forever. I think it was one of our first streams. I think we did Monday and Tuesday. And then eventually we took Monday and Tuesday and extended them. And then eventually we added on Wednesday, and then we moved Wednesday to Thursday. And then we moved Thursday's time around a little bit here and there. And so we've continuously done Mondays and Tuesdays since 2020. And it's going to be really weird not to stream on a Tuesday at 1 o'clock at least. So Actually, you know what I want to do, just for kicks and giggles. Let's see, since we started uploading, how many VarieTuesday videos do we have on our channel? So in case you didn't know, we post all of our VODs over to YouTube. I guess I can drop that link if you want it. We do post all of our VODs over on YouTube, so go subscribe if you want to. And I put them into playlists so that you can catch up if you want to, so that you can watch by game if you want to. There's a lot of different things that you have the opportunity to do, but I just want to find VarieTuesdays, see how many we have in there. Only 27, that feels super underwhelming. We definitely have had more than 27 VarieTuesdays, but maybe since we started doing the VOD last year. I mean, I guess if we did the actual math, not counting weeks off or times where it may not have happened, I mean, ostensibly we've had 150 of these, at least somewhere close. We've definitely had more than 100, and that's just crazy to me. Absolutely wild. Exciting and wild. That air compressor is absolutely going to drive me bonkers. So folks, the schedule for today, as I said, we're about to open up this Manga Spice Cafe box, this box right here for the month of April. And then we're going to get right into Pokemon White, which we actually started playing yesterday. Or not started, we actually were almost done playing yesterday, and we're going to see if we can finish it today. And then after that, we'll see what happens. Because Pokemon White is a game that for some reason just takes forever. So there's always a chance that it just doesn't end. And we end up playing to the end of stream. I really don't know how much is left because I've never played this game before, so I don't know how long the post story is. I don't think we'll go into post game stuff unless it's just absolutely essential. I hope it's not, because I really don't want to. If I'm being honest, if there's no real like good story to it, I'm kind of done with Pokemon White. So I kind of hope that it's done, but I don't know, so we'll find out. I don't think they're going to turn that air compressor off. I think it's just my life now. I think I'm just going to be hearing this air compressor for a while, which I feel like this is payback. I feel like in a sense this is payback, because you have to understand that I scream at the top of my lungs. I scream at the top of my lungs with video games, and I get frustrated and loud. So I think I deserve this. I feel like I deserve to hear an air compressor because they always hear me. It is not, no, it is not spices. It is manga. It is 3 new manga along with a bunch of food. It's based after a maid cafe. Hence why they call it a spice cafe, because they have a maid girl and they always have a different one each month, and that's the way they present it. So the idea is that you're like going into like a maid cafe and you're getting 3 new manga as well as some Japanese drinks and snacks. Not even Japanese. I keep saying Japanese, but the actual thing is just Eastern typically. Typically just Eastern. All right. I don't think they're going to go away, so we're just going to start Manga Spice Cafe. So, what's up, everybody? If you've never heard of Manga Spice Cafe, this is a manga subscription service that does not pay me to tell you about it, but they could. If you stop playing Manga Spice, I love you. I love you, and I'll talk about you until the end of days, because I've been a subscriber for a long time. Love Manga Spice. They give you 3 new manga, typically the first volume. Sometimes they do some like sequel editions, but it's always the first volume. And they also give you a cadre of different kinds of snacks and Eastern delights in there. So they might give you a drink, they might give you some candy, they might give you some chips. It's always something a little bit different. And even sometimes they throw in some prizes in there. So we'll see what else we get in this one, but we're going to get right into it. This is the April 2023 subscription box for Manga Spice Cafe. Let's find out what's inside. If you like watching these kind of videos, or if you find these on our channel and you think these are good stuff, be sure to let me know by clicking that like button, that thumbs up button. If you're watching this live on Twitch, then everybody say hi, YouTube. Thanks for watching, YouTube. All right, this is our manga subscription box. This is our maid cafe girl. She does have Easter eggs this time. That's always fun. And let's see, without getting any spoilers, this is Bunny-chan. I love this time of year. There's so many varieties of flowers. Everything is in bloom. For your manga this month, I've picked out a variety of genres. That's the theme, variety. Okay, when you open up the box, you have some tissue paper and you got some snacks. I already see an Easter egg in here, and that's really fun. So let's find out what's inside here. 2 Easter eggs, holy moly. All right, we have a bag of seaweed and salt potato chips. We have a Chupa Chups melon and cream flavored drink, sparkling drink. Variety on VarieTuesday, very appropriate. Let's see. We also have one Easter egg, which we'll open in just a second. It is sort of open, but I'm trying not to see what's inside. I'm trying with all my might. Okay, I got it sealed up. We'll open up our Easter eggs in just a second. Another Easter egg. We have this old lady looking into a crystal ball. We have a chocolate croissant. Chocolate croissant. We have some ramen. They always give me some flavor of ramen. This one looks like a teeny tiny one. It is YY Oriental. I don't know what that flavor means. It looks like we also have some Pocky in here. No, it's Pajoy. Pajoy, but it looks like Pocky. They always give me some chopsticks just because of the ramen. And then we got our manga. So not too many candy this time. That's it. I wonder if they're in the Easter eggs. All right. Now then, before we start tasting the snacks, let's open up and find out what kind of manga we got today. They're actually wrapped separately for some reason. So one of them is wrapped and the other. This is our first one. Tista by Tetsuya Endo. Tista by Tetsuya Endo. From the creator of Spy X Family. Okay, so that's where I knew that name from. I thought that name sounded familiar. Hang on, let's read this in epic announcer voice, of course. In New York City, the NYPD struggles to track down a serial killer known as Sister Militia, who's been targeting mobsters and other criminals in the Big Apple. No one knows who Sister Militia really is, except a few residents of a Catholic orphanage. Her name is Tista. Tista leads a dual life as the Grim Reaper of New York City and a university student studying to be a teacher, with extraordinary eyesight, allowing her to make long-range shots with unrivaled accuracy. She's come to be feared by the criminal underground. Tista knows she's doomed, but can her feelings for a young man she just met bring her back from the abyss? And what will she do if he finds out who she really is? Presenting Spy X Family again. Spy Family, more. Love it. Okay. Hey, cool. I mean, I like the Catholic backdrop. I like the NYPD backdrop. That's fun. That's fun. That's neat. That's cool. Why not? Who doesn't love it? Okay. 2 more manga. Another thing they always do for you is they give you 10 points. So 10 points. If you add up to 120, you get a free manga box. One of these days, we'll give away one of those boxes. Because I really do love Manga Spice Cafe, so it makes sense to get them. Next up is Call the Name of the Night. Call the Name of the Night by Tama Mitsuboshi. All right, the prompt. Once again, let's read the back and find out what this one is all about. Hang on, let's see if I can get a good angle here. Deep within the forest resides a curious pair. Mira, a girl with an affliction that calls forth the night, and Ray, a kindly doctor searching for the cure. Their days pass peacefully until an old acquaintance of Ray's appears. Much shorter. Not much they're trying to get you with this one. It does remind me of A Promised Neverland. I don't know if that's the same author. I don't think it is. But, yeah, gives me that vibe at least. All right. And our final manga, very thin manga this time, is The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses by Kume Fujichika. Kume Fujichika. The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. The distance between a boy and his crush shrinks every time she forgets her classes. Kimura starts his school year with a new neighbor in homeroom, the bespectacled Mie. Before long, he's nursing a raging crush on his quirky classmate who's always forgetting her glasses. Well, this may be ideal for Kimura, who wants to get to know Mie better. Will his poor heart give out from the daily strain of being up close and personal with the girl he likes? Find out in this Square Enix manga. Cool. All right. So those are our 3 this time. Let's do a little math and find out if we came out on top. These boxes typically cost $35 with shipping and handling up to about $43. We got $9.99, $13, $13. So we got $26, $35 even just for the books. If you count the snacks, I'm sure we get close to there. And I mean, shipping costs money. It just does. So really, we're coming out pretty even this time, especially if these are winners. Already, I like these because they're 3 unique original manga. Granted, Tista kind of sounds like Spy Family all over again, so, you know, maybe. But pretty good. I'm excited for these. I look forward to reading. With that, we're going to try some snacks. Do let me know if any of those mangas sounded interesting. Let me know down in the comments. Or if you're watching live, let me know if any of those sound curious to you. Our first Easter egg, the green one, contains the peach flavored Kit Kat. I've never had that one before. I've had a lot of the Kit Kat flavors, but never peach. That's new. Very new. All right, next up, our blue Easter egg is a bonus 10 points. Oh my goodness, that's so kind of them. Okay, so another 10 points. That's 20 points in one box. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. That's a good get right there. And it also looks like they gave me whatever her name is from the current season of Demon Slayer. They gave me a candy. They gave me some kind of candy flavored after her. So sure, why not? We'll give this all a shot. We're gonna start with savory, move our way over into sweet. So our savory options are maybe this old, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go read, find a golden egg and win big. I wish I had a golden egg. I don't. All right, no surprise, the girl I like forgot her glasses is being made into an anime because of course it is. Nothing I see from anywhere else. Rose, raspberry, pajoy, kind of like Pocky. Cheese flavored puffed corn snack. Chupa chup soft drink. Okay. No information about what the lady with the crystal ball is, so hopefully that's a savory. We'll let that be like our crossover just in case it's not. So it looks like we only have one savory. We have our one savory, which is our Calbee seaweed potato chips. I always hate the fact that with snacks and foods, there's so many varieties and flavors of stuff that I like that you just can't get easily in the States. Yeah. I'm actually not a snack person. Manga Spice Cafe is pretty much the only snacks that I get in a month. Like we're not chip people. We can't be dessert people because if we are, then I would put on all the weight I've ever lost. So we're gonna start with our seaweed flavored chip. You can see it, looks like a potato chip, nothing special. No frills, hang on, let's see if I can get it in focus. I gotta cover my face. No frills. Yep. Tastes exactly like a regular potato chip. Nothing special. Good, nice and buttery. Gotta love a nice buttery chip. All right, next up is the little old lady with a crystal ball. Still don't know what these are. We're gonna find out. Woo! Yeah, they're savory. They're cheese puffs. These are just cheese puffs, 100%. Cheese puffs. Ooh. Oh, those are good. Yeah. Yeah, that could quickly become an addiction right there. There's nothing to them. There's nothing to them. Pretty good. 2 for 2 so far. 2 for 2. Let's try our Pocky alternative. It looks sweet, but maybe it's not. So this is Pajoy. Definitely not Pocky. It looks just like, you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember those Do you remember those? Oh, I don't like the smell of this at all. That smells so gross. Oh my gosh. It smells like a restroom. Like a clean restroom. That smells like cleaning product. Okay, well, we're gonna try it. Anyway, do you remember those straws that you used to get that whenever you would drink through them, they would make chocolate milk? This reminds me of like a strawberry milk one. Okay. I'm real skeptical about this. You know what? I'm gonna do an amuse bouche with our drink so that I can clean out my mouth. So this is our sparkling Chupa Chups melon flavor. Melon! Whoa! 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 No! Why was it so shaken? I tapped the top and everything! It's so sparkling! Oh my goodness! That's delightful. That's delightful, but it didn't have to explode. I'm gonna go get a paper towel. What in the world? Okay. That was a delightful snack. Whoa. A delightful snack. I really like the melon flavor. It's like, it's something else. I think it's melon and, yeah, it's melon and cream. It tastes like a cream soda. Okay, now time for bathroom cleaner. Oh my gosh, I'm putting 2 and 2 together. The wrapping is roses. It tastes like a rose smells. Ugh. Ugh. That's so awful. 0 out of 10. 0 out of 10. Do not like. Would not try again. No. No, thank you. Okay, so we're 2 for 3. 2 for 3. Woo. All right, let's try our croissant. Let's try our croissant. I mean, it is just a chocolate croissant. It looks exactly like you would expect. So I'm sure it's going to be delightful, but cheers. That is chocolate bread. That is chocolate bread. That's what it is. It's okay. It's okay. 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. I'll give it a thumbs up. So that's a 3 for 4. Good. Melon. It's not quite chocolatey enough to get any higher than a 6. Okay. We're going to try the peach Kit Kat. Then we're going to try whatever her name is. All right, peach Kit Kat. First time ever having the peach one. It is pink, as one would think. It is indeed a pink Kit Kat. Let's see if I can cover my eyes so it'll focus. Pink Kit Kat. Kit Kat. Wow. That is a strong peach flavor. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big fan of white chocolate. And it's very clearly white chocolate based with peach flavoring. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 is still a Kit Kat. It's still delicious. Amazing. Okay. Next up is whatever her name is. Mitsuri? Something like that? Mitsubishi? Oh, it's a 5 chew. Here we go. It's just a big starburst. Very chewy. Not 5 chew, high chew. That's good stuff. Let's see if there's anything else in the magazine that we need to know. I'm not anywhere near as excited about my 10 points now that I know that there were golden eggs that had 1, 2, or 3 months available. Welcome back, Stain. So the Call, the Name of the Night Girl, that's her first ever production. The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses is a romantic comedy web manga. Maybe I'll like it. Maybe it'll be kind of like Bochi, because I loved Bochi. And then Tista, obviously, is Spy Family. I mean, I guess if it's somebody that like knows what they want to create and they can create it, then why not do it, I guess. So there you go. That has been the April Manga Spice Cafe, the Easter Manga Spice Cafe, a delightful one. Very excited about all the manga. The food was pretty choice. I would give it all around. Let's see. All around, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10 on the food, a 10 out of 10 on the manga. And I'm looking forward to finding out more about all of them. If you ever want to find out my thoughts on how the manga turned out or if I liked it or not, go follow me on Goodreads, !NPN or !NerdPastor8 will bring up my personal link tree that you can join and follow all of those. So that should be the place to do that if you would like to do that. And let's see. I think that's it. I feel like that's all the information that we have for this one. So we're going to say goodbye to YouTube. Twitch people, if you would say hi, YouTube, to let them know that we care about them. If you're watching this on YouTube and you made it this far, odds are you like this kind of content. I like the stuff that we're working on. We thank you for watching and for being a part of Manga Spice Cafe every single month. We have a lot of fun opening these, and I hope that you enjoy them as well. If you liked this one, if you were interested in any of the food or any of the manga, let me know in the comments down below. Again, if you like this one, click that like button because I really do check those to see what I need to make more of. And with that, we want to let you know 3 things that we believe to be true about every single one of you out there watching this at any point in time, whether you're watching it here on our YouTube channel or whether you watched it live here on Twitch. We want you to know these 3 things that we believe to be true about every single one of you out there. Number 1, that God loves you, like really, really loves you. Number 2, we love you. We want community with you. And number 3, that you, yes, you matter. You are a person of sacred worth. The world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it. Folks, thanks for watching. Until the next time that I see you. Bye-bye! Welcome back, Twitch. All right. Okay, so we're going to get right back on into Pokemon White and see if we can't be done with it. Be done with this game. No promises. Because I really don't know how much is left of this game. But I am very excited to be as close to done as we are. Bye, Spoofy. Everybody say bye, Spoofy. Looks quiet enough. I think we're okay. So for those of you that were with us yesterday, whenever we got here, we had just beaten in. We had just beaten in. And now we're going to find out what in the world could possibly be next. Where could we go from here? All right, here we go. Reshiram and I were beaten. Your ideals, your feelings, they were stronger than mine, it seems. Oh wow, look at his CG just right there on the screen. Zekrom and Reshiram, each of them choosing a different hero. Is that even possible? 2 heroes living at the same time, one that pursues ideals and one that pursues truth. Wouldn't it be great if you just had to read some dialogue before credits? I mean, I have a feeling that's all that's going to happen, but we were already like 10 minutes over yesterday, so I couldn't keep going. Could they both be right? I don't know. It's not by rejecting different ideas, but by accepting different ideas that the world creates a chemical reaction. This is truly the formula for changing the world. Bam, bam, bam! After all of that, do you think you're still worthy of sharing the name with me? Does that say Monia? Harmonia? Yeah. You good-for-nothing boy. To start with, I spurred into pursuing the truth. The reason we reawakened the legendary Pokemon now is to give my Team Plasma more power. Power to control the fearful masses. That, at least, was well done. After saying you had to put your beliefs on the line and battle to see which one chosen by the legendary Pokemon was the true hero, you lost to an ordinary trainer. There is such a thing as being too stupid. Add it up and you are nothing more than a warped, defective boy who knows nothing but Pokemon. Check. I never would have thought the legendary Pokemon would choose a trainer like you. It caught me completely off guard. This doesn't change my goal. My plans have not been disturbed. In order to rule the world utterly, in order to manipulate the hearts of people who know nothing, I will have N be the king of Team Plasma. But for that to work, you, since you know the truth, you must be eliminated! Oh my gosh, he's gonna kill me. Ghetsis is gonna myrtle me? Rule the world? Wasn't Team Plasma's goal to liberate Pokemon? That was just a convenient lie that I needed to create Team Plasma. Use your head. What's to be gained from letting go of useful things like Pokemon? Certainly manipulating Pokemon helps people expand their possibilities. That much I can agree with. So it naturally follows that only I should be able to use Pokemon. You fool! That's a ridiculous idea. You can say whatever you want. A Pokemon, even if it's revered as a deity, is still just a Pokemon. Check. So what if it chose you? That doesn't mean you're a threat. Come on! Now you'll face me in battle. I can't wait to see the look on your face when you've lost all hope. Well, there you go, Xando. At least we get to fight him. Check. I won't allow anyone to stop me, no matter who does what. I will kill a child directly in front of eyesight of every witness here. Man, they love this. They love that Pokemon, don't they? How egregious. Well, I'm not sure I have anybody for you. Yeah, it's opposite of that. Hopefully it won't kill Ronan in one hit. Looks a little loud. Is it a little loud? Don't you know that you're toxic? Heyo, Ronan. Uh-oh. Of course his is a one hit. Why is mine not a one hit? I love just the taiko drums just a going. Bye sharp, easy. Easy. Too easy. It's a fast bye sharp right there. Smack. Yeah! One hit, baby! Buffalant? Ooh, Buffalant. This is probably fine. Pretty sure Buffalant's a normal type. But he's also gonna have pretty high HP and defense. Whoa! That was a lot of damage! For Buffalant to hurt Chuck that much is a big deal. Ah, man! I mean, he could do it again. I was hoping he might use full restore. That way we each get another turn. Yeah. Probably has two. If I had to wager, he's got two of those. Now we get another round, huh? Yep. Just don't crit. Ah, man. I want to crit. So you got a full restore, use his other one? No! Interesting. You gonna do another? Go ahead, give me that recoil damage, baby! Goodbye! Bye-bye, Buffalant! You done recoiled yourself into the ground, bye! Alright, who's next? A Hydreigon? Hydreigon? Probably a dragon type, I'm gonna guess. I got a dragon type. Oh, it's this one, yeah. Dino. He is 4 levels above me. But I am literally a legendary. Don't matter, they said. They said that don't matter! Alright, hang on. Let me pull up my type chart. Not a diabetes type chart. Come on, Google. Alright, let's see. Dragon. Also weak to ice. Okay, I got ice. What? It's Dino. I like Dino because it reminds me of the Flintstones. And because he looks like a dog. Like a dog. Yes, I would have assumed it was Dino. Zwilus, I would have never known that that was what it was called. Let's hope I'm faster. I'm not! I'm not faster. I'm not faster. Heinz, Y, and dry. This is really bad. I'm in a really, really bad spot. Let's hope that maybe Boaz can at least take a hit. What happens if I die? How far back do I have to go? I could burn him with Ronin if I get a turn in. Why does he know Surf? Why does he know Surf? Ooh, you go, Boaz. We're gonna try to take him down with Chuck, but it's not likely. I mean, it is not likely. This is the worst matchup. Level 54 dragon. I was not expecting him to one-shot a legendary, to say the least. Let's just... We don't know yet. We don't know if we need superpower. Let's just use this first. We don't know yet. We don't know. That plummeted pretty quick. How many of those has he got? Big yikes. Big ol' yikes. This is really not looking pretty. How many of those has he got, dude? Okay, hang on. I can survive another one of those. You can't. Dragon Pulse. How much is that gonna do? Bogus, dude! Absolutely bogus! Ah! I mean, what if he, I don't know what else to do. I'm really in a tight spot. Woo! Please don't one-shot. Please don't one-shot. Oh, thank you, Abba Moses. Woo, boy, good job. Good job. Okay, who else do we have? We have an Electros and we have a Seismitoad. Electric and water ground. So who could we send out that'll be able to pretty much take either one of those? Nobody. Nobody's gonna be able to take all of those. I guess let's risk it with Zero Chill. Because at the very least, Zero Chill can hopefully take a punch. Mercy, I hope. We're in a really tight spot. We're in a really, really tight spot. Oh, man. Woo! Don't you dare crit, Hydreigon. Don't you dare crit. I begged you, homie. I don't know what to do. I guess I lose. What happens? Where do I go? What do I do now? I lost. Do I start over from this fight? Do I go back before I fought in? Do I go back before the Elite Four? Where do I go? This is terrifying. I needed him to not do one thing, and he did it. Oh no! What if he crits, dude? What if he crits again? If he crits again, I'm done for. I can't win this. I have one Hyper Potion left. What, you can't miss? You can't miss? Nobody ever taught you how to miss, my friend? I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to do. I'm in a stalemate. I'm in an absolute stalemate. You're tricking me. You're tricking me because all you have to do is another Dragon Pulse and I'm dead. So you're trying to lull me into a sense of security. I'm not gonna fall for it. This is awful. What a terrible, terrible fight. I'm so scared of not knowing what happens if I lose. How many hits does Dragon Pulse have? 10? Has he really not hit 10 yet? Feels like we're way past 10. Feels like we're light years past 10. Ah! He crit twice on me, dude! What happens? Where do I go? We're gonna find out. Do I even have the money? No, I don't have the money. I can afford 26 Hyper Potions. This game is insane. This game is insane. I swear this has been the hardest Elite Four ever. The hardest in-game experience I've ever had. Hang on. We're gonna save state. I just want to know what happens. Okay, it's just Ghetsis again. That's fine. I started with a bad first Pokemon, but that's fine. Because who is his first one? Cuff egregious. Cuff egregious. this game, dude. Whoops. And there's nobody that can take him. Like, Zero Chill has no impact here. Let's try and start with Abimoses instead of Ronan. Let's save Ronan for that Will-O-Wisp. Interesting. So I can coax out that Toxic first round almost no matter what. So that's the second time that's happened. So knowing that I just keep starting this over, I might just grind for a little bit. We might turn back on Spoofy and grind on Ghetsis. We'll give it one more shot. We're gonna give it one more shot. We're not giving up without a fight. Oh yeah, this is the one that I had to lure out. Let's actually leave Ronan out and go ahead and burn Buffalant. Because I think we'll be able to take Buffalant down in one hit without him using his full restores. If I'm clever here. Dumb move. That's a bad move. Why'd you do that? That was just an objectively bad move. Why did you do such a thing? How strange. That was just such a bad move. Why would you do that? Why would you have done such a move? I don't understand. I'm so confused. I might die. Please don't die. Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, so you lose. You lose, sir. Okay. Burn! Burn! Yes! Burn damage! Oh, we love it! Oh my goodness. I was so stressed. I was about to be like, are you joking with me right now? Alright, this is the one that's giving me a fit. Who can beat him? Let's... Ronan, you can't... You're not fast enough, dude. Why? Why? Why does he have to be so slow? There's a chance. There's a chance. Worth a shot, I guess. Miss? Too lucky. I would have been too lucky for him to have missed. All right, that's one. One Dragon Pulse down. See if we can lure out another. It's got Fire Blast too, because why not? And the dude can't miss. The homie cannot miss. So let's try to make it miss. He's just so fast. It's fine. I got 2 sand attacks in. That's pretty good. Yeah. So what we can actually technically do is I can go right back outside of the Elite Four. I can grind up Bryce Cream at least a little bit. We need Bryce Cream to be just a little bit better. Just a little bit better. I could not even get across that eye roll with enough furiosity. He can't miss! He can't miss! He can't miss, Monokuma! He can't miss! The guy can't miss! He can't do it! He can't not hit me! He can't not hit me with every single thing that he throws at me. Every single one he hits. He hits! Every time he hits! Alright, we're gonna go grind up. And honestly, we might be losing the dragon. Who else do I have? No. Hertz doesn't need to come back. Woo! Alright. Everybody say, welcome back, Spoofy. We're gonna play some more Spoofy. We're gonna speed up our game. And we're about to go. Okay, now I'm trying to remember where can I even do this. Yeah, that's a rough wet area. That's not going to do much for me. A truly laughable 200 XP. Oh, it's all the way back there? No, thank you. We're gonna fly. Again, a downright audible eye roll there. Why not? Why can't I use that here? Just give me a reason, just a little bit's enough. Why can't I use that here? That is some nonsense, dear. Thank you. Okay. The floor is sticky from the cream soda, and I don't care for that. All right, Bryce Cream. Let's put Bryce Cream out front. Might need counseling. I just ate a hot cocoa packet dry. Stained, I am disgusted. In a word. Disgusted. I feel like that's a crime against humanity. $123. I mean, that's embarrassing. That is an embarrassing amount of experience points. I do feel like, though, it is helpful to know that it was about the same. Tell me more about what you mean by crispy marshmallows, Tim. What's that? What does that mean? Tell me about those crispy marshmallows. Ooh. Good shot. Oh, yes. The freeze-dried marshmallows. Yes. Yes. I know exactly what you mean. Now, the marshmallows sound delicious. Have y'all seen the freeze-dried candy thing? Y'all kept up on that? Because it was everywhere. In Colorado, there was freeze-dried candy everywhere. I'm told that that might be for a very specific reason in Colorado, but I don't know that for a fact. Whoopsie. Hopefully it's a one-shot. It wasn't. Mountain hikes. Yeah, that's why. Absolutely. That is the reason. How did you know? Such a good guess, Stain. Yeah, I definitely saw enough of that joke whenever I was out there. Felt like I couldn't take 2 feet without seeing a like, well, you know, in some states it's illegal to be this high up. And I was like, okay, well, we get it. We get the joke. But everybody have the joke about it being illegal to be this high. All right. Enough of that. We hear you. Well, we need to take a break. Oopsie doopsie. Or rather than confuse our ad friends, as soon as they get back from ads, we'll send them to the waiting screen. That's cruel, doesn't it? That feels cruel. So jaded. That's me. Hey! Jaded. Jaded. Cause I'm the one who jaded you. Now that's great to sing that song and then to look back at the little thing on the camera and see it go down one. You had 5 viewers. And then you sang Jaded by Aerosmith, maybe, at the top of your lungs. No, surely Aerosmith doesn't sing Jaded. Who sings Jaded? Hey, Jaded. It is Aerosmith? Hey, good pull. Good pull by me. I was like questioning myself as I said it, but sure enough. All right, we're gonna finish this ad in 10 seconds. Thankfully, I don't care about IV or EV training, and I'm just continuing this. All right, we're gonna take a 3-minute break. We like to take a break every hour to make sure that we're practicing good, healthy streaming habits. So we will see you back in 3 minutes with more great Pokemon White content. Will we be Ghetsis? Is this the end of the game? I don't know the answer to either one. Find out in 3 minutes. Uh-oh. Alright, mate, I know what you're here for. I'm the one robot that don't sound like a robot. You're asking me to take a dive, but I can't accommodate you, mate. Got special orders, isn't it? That is his voice. That is his voice. I nailed it. Got special orders, isn't it? Looking to trade something special we can do. I might even give you something you can win. But I can't be taking a dive. PO3, you understand? I love that I nailed his voice without even needing to, dude. Heck yes. So good at games. Great voice, 10 out of 10, best voice ever. The fact that I nailed it right away makes me real proud of myself.
Directly to the cause, and I think it's so. That's one of the things I was wondering. Is,
hey, Breach just donated that.
Sweet, thank you so much. It makes a huge difference. So one whole dollar of that dollar will go towards you know.
It took up my entire screen.
Did it?
Do you have the alert box set
Do you
to
have the
full
alert
screen?
set to full?
Yeah, we're gonna.
Oh
need
my
to,
gosh!
we're gonna need
That
to
is
get
the
it
most
adjusted 'cause
exciting dollar that's
it
ever
was
been
so
done.
loud. Oh my goodness, we went a whole extra hour. This one has like a little bit of a Valley Girl tone. It's also awful.
And this one is fine. Extra hour game.
So there you go. Way too dank. Way past cool.
You love to see it.
Number 15. Other than Leshy, the scribe of beasts. And a beast he is, arrogant, single-minded, obsessed with gaining power. But he is far from the worst scribe to become hegemon. You see, the ejection of my eyeball is far from the worst thing that can happen around here. You must be... What? What? What have you done? What have you done, Perspectus? You've summoned him. You've summoned the boy. The green boy. Yeah! This is Lonk. Hello, everybody. Lonk is here. Yeah! I don't know if anybody ever clipped that. I think that might just exist in our imaginations forever. I live in front of a green screen. Yeah. I am Groot. I am Groot. My Rosa Corsa Ferrari. 10 minutes somewhere is 10 minutes anywhere. But somehow one hurts more than the other. When I'm driving to the coffee shop. Yeah. I am Groot. I am Groot. I am. After the middle school plays, the air smells like bonfire and people who chit-chat. Welcome back. What's up? Back into it. All right, the grind continues, folks. We are going to continue etching away bit by bit, trying to get ourselves a little bit closer to Ghetsis' team's level. And time will tell. Time will tell if we're able to actually take on Ghetsis. With our paltry little team. The only one I really care about is Bryce Cream, but we're going to go ahead and grind the rest of the team because why not? Extra levels aren't going to hurt. It does show, I think, just how straight I'm trying to play this game. Just given the fact that I'm dying. Like, I can't tell you the last time I've lost a Pokemon match. Time to pick up H-Dog Helen BRB. See you soon. Love this 4x speed. I could even go faster, really. I just don't want to. I don't want the game to crash because I'm going too fast. That would be disheartening to lose all this progress. Okay, so Buffalon's fast. I honestly don't foresee Chuck losing anytime soon, but maybe he will. Chuck is pretty tough. Chuck has definitely been our mainstay throughout this game. Kind of unreal how strong Throw is. I'm not normally a big fighting type fan in general, So I think that's why it surprised me as much as it has. Does Body Slam not do recoil damage if the match just ends? It's good to know. Good to know. I could probably do better with Chuck up on the top of the mountain, but east, whatever. It is a pretty big jump, isn't it? I'm like just putting together just how big of a jump it is from these level 33s to like 45 on the other side of Indigo Plateau. Or whatever it's called in this game, I can never remember. Oh, whoa! No way. Does Body Slam not do recoil? Maybe I just thought it did. You're kidding. Throw is tough, dude. Throw is tough as nails. Keep telling y'all, Throw ain't playing any games. So, I hope everybody's Tuesday's going well. If you're in the chat, let me know how's your Tuesday going. Pretty good start to the day. Is it a rough start to the week? We did get some bad news this morning that I was very disappointed by, but not from the doctor. I know those are like two things that shouldn't be said close to each other. I took my daughter to the doctor this morning. We got bad news. No, the doctor was great. Bad news was disconnected from hospital or doctor visit. But other than that, everything's going pretty good. Pretty good. Trying to get back on the swing of things. Super busy, as you can tell by the fact that I'm currently grinding in Pokemon Emolga. Cool. Get ready to be body slammed. Might run out of PowerPoints. Might just. Man, rechargeable batteries don't make any sense. Trying to protect the environment. Trying to do rechargeable batteries. And look at how pitiful that light is. Those are freshly charged batteries. Flying solo at work yesterday and today, so it has been busy. That does sound very busy. That sounds quite daunting. Is today the last day of flying solo? Are you almost through it? Or do you still have more to go? Possibly one more day unless my coworker's back is feeling better. Ah, that's a bummer. I guess I would rather be flying solo and having to work extra hard than having back pain. If I had to choose between the two. You have the harder working but less painful end of the deal. Boaz, you're going to make this way slower by having to attack twice. Let's see if maybe Bulldoze does a little more damage. Nope. Thankfully, it's not crazy busy until finals in 2 weeks, so it's not too bad. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's coming up, isn't it? Holy moly. How can that be here so soon? Why did I not do Rock Slide? It's really a flying type. You doofy doof. Finals season. That's just insane. I remember it well. Not too bad against Buffalont. Boaz is like a snake in the grass. Sometimes Boaz really surprises me with just how strong he is. And then other times he's like nothing. Fungus a grass type? Fungus is a grass type. Or did that say crit? Might not have been super effective. Try to stand up straighter. The whole point of this standing cam was so that I would stand up straighter, stop slouching in a chair, and so that I would be off my tuchus for a little while. And some of those things are being achieved, but I'm still slouching like nobody's business. I want better posture. It was to the point that like for years and years I had in my Amazon cart the back brace thing that like pulls your shoulders back. And I just never bought it because I was like, it probably doesn't work. It's probably just a scam or scheme. And so I never wound up getting it, but it was in my cart for many a year. I was like, maybe that would be what it would take. But again, I blame my third child syndrome. I think that because my parents were just so like done raising kids, they never were like, Nathan, don't slouch, sit up straight. They never did that to me, and so I was like sitting there with my Game Boy Advance like hunched over. Now I'm self-conscious about it. Not even self-conscious. I don't want to walk around slouching. Frankly, it hurts. Is this still spoofy? Ooh. Look at you, Boaz, actually contributing. Makes me so proud.